Hello everybody, Floppy Hat Photos back here again for another episode of my Be Positive van. And I just realized I was going to take that speaker out and I forgot. So as you can tell, I have the door tore apart here completely. The panel's all off it. The panel's actually going to be thrown away and I'm going to use it a pattern to make a new panel for it. I don't like that burgundy color, the stretched out, the little pockets and stuff. It's not going to work. So my hope is to actually build a little pocket that actually sets back inside this opening. And I also need to figure out, you notice that little part there, that's actually what holds the door open when it's fully open, and there's a bushing missing and it's broke. I put a different bolt in there thinking I'd fix it and didn't. But the door, the cables to this handle are busted and I cannot find how to replace them because the replacement cables doesn't work, because where it mounts actually up in the door, it doesn't do me any good because they are fixable. They're non-replaceable cables in them. So when I have both hands, I can pull the cables, and I'm going to make a little handle, I think, for each of those to hold them into place, and then I'm just going to move it that way. Although it still latches and works great, it's nice and tight, I'm just going to have to build myself something on the end of these cables to hold them in place, and the back of the handle, then a little handle here to pull on that won't be this handle itself. So I'll get it figured out eventually, just it'll take me a little while, but it's good to go. Inside door handle here has never worked. There's actually a handle that mounts right here that moves up, and it's not going to work either because the mounting inside here is also broke. So this van will not be exitable from the inside of the rear doors. Not a big deal. There's two front doors and the barn doors on the side. I can get out that way, not a problem. And the back door, this was actually giving me a lot of fits, was not opening and shutting properly. I've got that all cleaned up and all lubricated and everything else. Again, this speaker's missing. The panel is not going to go here. There was the junk plastic panels around the top that were just, they're cheap. They're made by the Coach company. A lot of them, as you notice up here, not sure if it's going to focus or not. That one right there is actually, there you can see it. It's bent up. You can see it right there, where there is actually a light running behind it, and you can see the wire sticking out for that light right here also. It melted and deformed it. They're flimsy. They rattle. They're gross sounding. I tore them all out. Going to go ahead and haul them off to the scrapyard or to the landfill. Nothing there. There was a compartment up top here. I'll film it from the other side to show you. I took out the extra stereo, bunch of wires. The old stereo's right here, an old cassette player that who gives a damn about. That's going away. I'd never need a second radio, so it didn't matter. I'm going to build a new panel for this door also. I have some paneling. I have some plywood I'm going to use to build that with. I did put the bubble foil insulation just as a window shade that I've put inside my rear window, and hopefully that'll go well for me. I got to cut the rest of them out. None of them seem to be the same size. They're all different sizes, which is amazingly annoying. I think these three windows are all going to be the same, so once I get its pattern done, I can do it. But I got to figure out if I want to cover up the bottom where the vents are. I don't think I do. So I got to make one for the side windows here. These I want to also tint, I think, or have them tinted. I haven't decided which way I'm doing that yet. I might tint them myself and have a few bubbles, and it won't be that big a deal. But this panel also is messed up. They want $89 for this little bracket right here, which is a latch, and you have to buy the darn bracket in order to get the cable, because this is an unserviceable bracket latch mechanism. So definitely $89 each. There's two of them per door, so I'm looking, $180 plus shipping, plus whatever the body shop that I was going to buy was going to charge me probably a little extra. So $200 I figure minimum per door, and I need to do this door and that other barn door in the back over here, and I can't justify that kind of money. There's no way it's going to make any sense to me to spend $400 to get doors to open without pulling those cables. So I'll just pull the cables and say the heck with it, at least for now anyway, and go from there. So I did get the doors opened at least. That's a big thing for me. You can also see up in here, I've got this panel, started removing it. This panel is going to come out. There's just a bunch of excess holes, a bunch of screw holes, headphone jack holes here, all kinds of stuff that tired of looking at. And without that extra plastic around the window trim, I didn't like the look of it. Too much gap there, so I'm going to rebuild all that. And I'm going to use it hopefully as a template. I think I might be cutting it here in the middle in order to give myself easier access to get it out of the vehicle. I got to measure. I'm going to have 2 pieces, I think, anyway, or I got to go buy a 12-foot long piece of plywood, which I might go ahead and do that instead of trying to seam it together in 2. All this wood, this like little magazine rack and all these little pieces are all getting thrown away. It's not going to match anything I'm doing. A lot of it's water damage from people spilling stuff. You can see here where it's warped out and melted. The rear speakers are gone. I'm going to probably, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do there. I might throw some other speakers there and hook them up to the front. Depends on how hard it is to run wiring through here. But if you guys look back and remember, there was actually hanging down here was like a big extra unit that had the air conditioning, heating vents in it, also had the stereo in it. That's gone. I hit my head on it constantly getting in and out, drove me nuts. Again, like I said, I don't need the extra rear stereo. And the rear heat and air are not hooked up to anything, because when they replaced the motor in this van, somebody did not bother hooking it up. So there's still that little, you know, you can see a little heater core over there. I'm leaving it in. It's going to take it out, but I'm leaving it in because I got a redneck idea of running a wood stove slash coil, like copper coil, to throw like in a wood fire, and then pump hot water into that radiator core. So kind of be able to bring wood heat inside the van if I'm camped somewhere for a few days like that, or if it's super cold out. I'll be able to keep the fire, you know, maybe 50 feet away from the van and run 50-foot long hoses to it, and then basically hook it in and just have a little 12-volt pump running it, and that wouldn't be a problem at all. Or even if I'm in like a campsite somewhere plugged in, I could plug it into 110 and go that way. So really, I didn't accomplish diddly squat for being productive. I feel like I've done nothing more but just destroyed this van. I've just been tearing it apart and tearing it apart. It's all I'm doing with it. I do have the door panels. That's one of the door panels there. That's actually the passenger side rear door. The one on top right here, that's the driver side rear door. And this front one here actually goes on this little rear barn door, side barn door. That little plastic compartment goes over top of that heater core, which I don't like the way it looks either. I'm going to hold on to it for now because I don't know if I'm going to, how far I want to go about rebuilding it. But I think what my goal is to have coming out right through the top here, that the fan is built in behind it. I want to actually build a duct and have it duct straight out this way. Instead of running the ducts up overhead, I've already taken them all out. They're junk. I'm going to have it just blow right there. So it will not be as good. So it will be blowing out directly underneath my bed, and that's not a good thing. But it's better than not having a heat at all, so I got to look at it and see what it is. I might just run it straight up next to my bed, because my bed will be out from that wall just a little bit. So we'll see. We'll go from there. I got to look at it and just kind of, right now I'm not throwing it away because it'd be hard to recreate if I have to. So most likely it'll get probably just covered up with a little wooden box, because I don't plan on using that heater core back there anytime soon. The front heat works plenty fine. I got nothing to worry about there. I'm going to pull the front out of here. There's a little like cubby hole there. You can kind of see off on the side. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that and just replace that whole panel. And I haven't decided what I'm replacing it with, but that'll get there when I get there. So, and up top you can see there's the little cubby holes and the lights. The lights don't work. I don't know where the power goes to them. I've pulled, I think it was 9 pounds of wiring out of this vehicle already. 9 pounds of wire that I pulled out of here. Just a lot of it had melted through at times. A lot of things have been shorting out. You can see they replaced fuses with bigger fuses over the years. The stupid little mood lighting they had in there, I'm not sure if there's a piece in here or not. No, there's not. That's that front panel had the vents in it that had the stereo hanging underneath it. So there was the mood lighting and stuff in here that was wired up as soon as you turned the key on, that automatically came on. So if I was sitting somewhere and didn't want lighting, I had no way of shutting it off without turning the vehicle off, and that was not what I wanted either. So my goal, I think, with it is just to go ahead and just pull out any wires that I don't need. There's power in the back that went to the stereo, I think. There's some wires up in that top compartment that I need to get figured out. I don't know what I'm doing with those exactly yet. So I just tucked them up inside there, and I want to make sure that I don't cut off any wires that are still running power to them, because then I'll have live wires floating around. That's always dangerous. So I'm going to go ahead and basically I need to do the floor and all that kind of stuff first, but I'm going to tear it all apart and figure out what my plan is before I start doing flooring, because it does me no good to do flooring and have to take it back out to run wires underneath or who knows what. So that's my goal. Right now I'm just happy with the 2 front speakers, so I don't really worry about all the rear speakers and all that junk. I want to bring back a bunch of wiring to the rear, but I'm going to put in probably a separate fuse box underneath the hood, and then just run all my own wiring off of there. So that way I know everything that's in it, and all the wires that are here, I'll just start removing and start cutting out as I don't need, because like I said, I don't trust the wiring. It's from the 90s, and I'm going to probably be putting a lot more power through to it for the better lighting and that kind of stuff than it ever had to begin with, and I don't trust the wiring. And I don't know if maybe a mouse chewed through it or somebody hit it with a screw, putting a pellet in and stuff. I'm just going to put all my own new wiring in, and I'll be happy with that. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. If you guys, not tomorrow, I guess, talk to you guys sometime next time I get to work on this thing again, and go from there. So have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Get out there, think positive, and take yourself a little trip.